Imagine this. You wake up, check your phone, and instead of seeing a tiny account balance struggling to grow, you see a six-figure funded account. $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 of capital sitting there, ready for you to trade. No more worrying about blowing your own money. No more trying to turn $200 into $20,000. Instead, you're trading real capital with real payouts, and finally giving yourself the chance to make trading work the way you always dreamed. Sounds unreal, doesn't it? But in 2025, it's more possible than ever before. Here's the truth. The game has changed. A few years ago, getting funded was a rare opportunity. Prop firms were smaller, rules were stricter, and hardly anyone knew they existed. But now, the funding industry has exploded. Every trader online is talking about it. Social media is filled with screenshots of payouts, and everyone is asking the same question. How do I get funded? But here's what most people don't realize. Passing a funding challenge isn't about luck. It isn't about catching one big trade, and it definitely isn't about gambling your way through the rules. It's about discipline, consistency, and understanding exactly what prop firms are looking for. Because make no mistake, their business model is built to filter out the undisciplined. If you don't know how to approach it, you'll fail. Over and over again, I know, because I did. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I took my first funding challenge. I thought it would be easy. Just a couple of big trades, hit the profit target, and boom, funded. Within days, I blew it. I over-leveraged, I ignored my plan, and I failed. I was frustrated, embarrassed, and almost convinced the whole thing was a scam. But then I stepped back and started studying. I watched how real traders approach challenges. I noticed something. They weren't trying to get rich quick. They weren't rushing. They were following a system. They treated the challenge like a job interview, not a lottery ticket the next time. I changed everything. I lowered my risk. I focused on one strategy. I tracked my bias daily and only took high-quality setups. And this time I passed, not just once, but again and again. And when the payouts started hitting my account, I realized something powerful. Funding is real. It works. But only if you treat it like a professional. That's what I want to share with you in this video. Not hype, not shortcuts, not empty promises. A real step-by-step guide to getting funded in 2025. Because the opportunities are massive right now, bigger than ever before. But so are the traps. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll burn challenge after challenge and never see a payout. If you do know what you're doing, you can use funding to finally break free from the limitations of trading a small personal account. Let me tell you about someone from my Discord, a trader named Marcus. He joined after failing 4 different challenges. He was ready to quit. But when he learned the rules we use, small risk, consistent execution, daily bias before trades, and respecting drawdown limits, he turned everything around. He passed a $50,000 challenge, then scaled up to $200,000. Last month, he posted his first 5-figure payout in the group. He said it felt like he was finally playing the game on the right side, and that's exactly what I want for you. To stop struggling with small accounts, to stop failing challenges out of impatience, to stop thinking funding is out of reach. In 2025, if you learn the right approach, you can absolutely get funded over the next chapters. I'm going to break this down step by step. The mindset you need before you even start. The exact strategy that works for passing challenges. The daily routines that keep you consistent. The biggest mistakes traders make that blow accounts. And finally, the blueprint for scaling from your first funded account into a trading career. But it all starts here, with this decision. Are you going to treat funding like a gamble or like a business? Because in 2025, the traders who get funded, and stay funded, are the ones who understand this isn't about passing once. It's about building habits that keep you profitable long after the challenge is over. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. In my Discord, I share my market analysis, my strategies, and my daily bias with traders working toward funding. We go through challenges together, hold each other accountable, and share every step of the journey. That kind of support is what makes the difference between failing another account or finally getting funded for real. So as we close this first chapter, I want you to imagine it again. Opening your trading platform in the morning and seeing 6 figures of capital sitting there, trading without fear, because you're not risking your own rent money. Getting payouts that finally make all the hours of studying charts worth it. That's not just a dream anymore. That's funding in 2025 in the next chapter. I'll show you the first step to making it happen. The mindset shift you need before you even buy a challenge. Because if you don't get this part right, no amount of strategy will save you. Let me tell you the hardest truth about getting funded. Most traders fail not because their strategy is bad, but because their mindset is broken. They treat the challenge like a race. They think the goal is to hit the profit target as fast as possible. They forget that passing the challenge is not the real test. Staying funded is imagine this. You buy a $100,000 challenge. You sit down on day 1, full of energy, ready to prove yourself. Instead of taking it slow, you risk big. You're convinced you'll smash the target in just a few trades. At first, maybe it even works. You're up a couple of thousand. You feel invincible. But then the market shifts. One bad trade wipes out half your progress. Another puts you in drawdown. Panic sets in. You chase trades. And within days, your challenge is over. Not because you didn't know how to trade, but because you didn't respect the rules. I've seen this story play out countless times, and I've lived it myself. The first time I ever bought a funding challenge, I went in with greed. I thought, if I just hit a few big trades, I'll be funded by the weekend. Instead, I failed within 72 hours. The worst part? My analysis wasn't even wrong. My bias was correct. But my risk was reckless, my mindset impatient, and I let emotion control me. The shift happened when I realized funding isn't about speed. It's about survival. Prop firms design these challenges with strict rules. Daily drawdown limits, maximum drawdowns, profit targets. Not to punish you, but to test whether you can trade like a professional. They don't care if you can double your account in a week. They care if you can protect capital, manage risk, and stay consistent over time. Here's the mindset you need. Treat the challenge like a job interview. Every trade is your resume. Every day you respect the rules, you're proving you can be trusted with capital. When you think this way, you stop trying to gamble your way through. You stop chasing profit, and you start focusing on process. Let me give you an example. A trader in my Discord, named Jordan, had failed 5 funding challenges before joining us. Every time it was the same mistake, over-leveraging. He'd go all in on 1 or 2 trades, hoping to hit the target quickly. Sometimes he got close, but sooner or later he always blew up. When I told him to flip his mindset, he resisted. But then he tried it. On his next $50,000 challenge, he risked just 0.5% per trade. His goal wasn't to pass in a week, it was to survive. Slowly, trade by trade, his account grew. 2 weeks later, he hit the target. And for the first time, he didn't just pass, he felt in control. That's the difference mindset makes. Here's how you apply it step by step. First, lower your risk. Forget about risking 5% in one trade. Think in terms of 0.5% or 1%. Small, consistent risks give you room to breathe. Second, forget the deadline. Most prop firms give you more than enough time to hit the target. Stop treating it like a sprint. Think marathon. Third, focus on consistency, not profit. Your goal is not to smash a huge trade. Your goal is to show steady growth day after day. Fourth, treat drawdown like oxygen. The moment you run out, you're dead. Protect it at all costs. And fifth, detach from the outcome. Your job is not to control whether a trade wins or loses. Your job is to execute your plan. If you follow your rules, you've already won. No matter what that one trade does. Another story to drive this home. A trader named Alicia came into the Discord frustrated. She had passed a challenge once, but lost her funded account within 2 weeks. Why? Because she treated passing as the finish line. The moment she got funded, she ramped up her risk, chasing bigger profits. It didn't take long before she broke the rules and lost the account. I told her, the mindset that gets you funded is the mindset that keeps you funded. She took it to heart. On her next challenge, she slowed down, respected her plan, and when she got funded again, She treated it like capital preservation first. That account has been paying her steady withdrawals for months now. And that's what I want you to understand. Funding is not a jackpot. It's a partnership. Prop firms want traders who can protect capital, not gamblers. If you bring that mindset into 2025, you'll not only pass, you'll thrive, and remember, you don't have to build this mindset alone. In my Discord, we talk about it every day. Traders share their struggles with fear, greed, and impatience. We remind each other of the rules. Because mindset isn't something you flip once. It's something you practice daily. In the next chapter, I'll take you into the practical side. The exact strategies and setups that work best for passing funding challenges in 2025. Because once your mindset is right, the next step is execution. And that's where the real blueprint begins. Now that your mindset is set, let's talk about strategy. Because mindset alone won't pass a funding challenge. You need a plan you can repeat day after day. The trick is to keep it simple. Too many traders think they need 5 strategies, 10 indicators, or endless signals. But the truth is, one clean, repeatable setup is enough to pass, stay funded, and get paid. Here's the first principle. Trade in line with your daily bias. Before you even think about entering a trade, decide whether you're bullish, bearish, or neutral for the day. You do this by checking higher time frames, yesterday's highs and lows, and liquidity zones. If your bias is bearish, you only look for shorts. If bullish, only longs. This instantly cuts out half the noise and keeps you focused. The second principle, look for liquidity sweeps. This is the bread and butter. The market almost always hunts stops before moving in the real direction. Wait for the sweep, then trade the reversal. If price sweeps yesterday's high shows rejection, and your bias is bearish, that's your entry. If it sweeps yesterday's low, rejects, and your bias is bullish, same idea. Liquidity sweeps give you high probability setups with tight stops and big reward potential. The third principle, stick to session times. Most prop traders blow challenges by overtrading in dead hours. Focus on the London session for Forex, New York for indices, and overlap times for high liquidity. That's when the big moves happen. Outside of those times, step away. The fourth principle, risk small, aim big. This is what makes the math of funding work. Risk 0.51% per trade, aim for 2 to 4% reward. You don't need to win every trade. You don't even need a high win rate. With proper risk to reward, a few clean setups can hit the profit target without ever putting your account at risk. Let me give you an example. A trader in my Discord named Ethan passed his first $100,000 challenge using just one setup, the Asian session sweep into London Open. Every night he marked the Asian high and low. Every morning he waited for price to sweep one side, reject, and move the other way. He didn't touch anything else. That single setup was enough to hit target within 3 weeks. Calm, consistent, no gambling, another story. Mia, another member, was obsessed with scalping. She'd take 10 or 15 trades a day, chasing every small move. She failed 3 challenges that way. When she switched to a structured plan, 2 trades a day max, only during New York, only after liquidity sweeps, she finally passed. She told me afterward, "The less I traded, the more I won. This is the power of simplicity." So here's the blueprint. Step 1. Set your bias from higher time frames. Step 2. Mark liquidity levels. Yesterday's high and low, session highs and lows, equal highs and lows. Step 3. Wait for the sweep and rejection. Step 4. Enter in line with bias. Stop just beyond the sweep. Target the next liquidity pool. Step 5. Risk small, aim for 2 to 4x reward. That's it. That's the strategy. Not 10 things, not chaos. Just one repeatable process. Now, will you lose trades? Yes. Will sweeps sometimes fail? Of course. But that's the point. With small risk and big reward, you don't need perfection. You just need consistency. And remember, The prop firms don't want to see wild swings. They want to see control. This strategy gives you exactly that. Clear entries, tight stops, logical targets, and consistency over time. In my Discord, we refine this strategy together every day. Traders post their bias, their sweeps, their entries. We check each other's trades, spot mistakes, and improve together. That's how you go from theory to results. In the next chapter, I'll show you the other side of this coin. The biggest mistakes traders make that blow challenges and funded accounts. Because knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing the right strategy. If you avoid these traps, your chances of staying funded go through the roof. Let me tell you something harsh, but true. Most traders who buy a funding challenge will fail it, not because they're completely clueless, not because the market is rigged, but because they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And the saddest part? These mistakes are avoidable. If you can learn to spot them and avoid them, your chances of getting and staying funded skyrocket. The first mistake is over-leverage. This is the killer of most challenges. Traders think, if I just risk big on 1 or 2 trades, I can smash the target and be done. It almost never works. Maybe you win once, but the second time you lose, the account is gone. Funding is a marathon, not a sprint. Over-leverage is like running full speed at the start of a marathon. You burn out before the race even begins. The second mistake is ignoring drawdown limits. Prop firms don't care how much profit you make if you break their rules. If you hit the daily drawdown, even if you are profitable overall, you fail. Too many traders forget this. They take loss after loss in one session, trying to make it back, and then wonder why their account is gone. Rule number 1 in funding: protect your drawdown like your life depends on it. Because in this game, it does. The third mistake is revenge trading. This is emotional suicide. You take a loss, you get angry, and instead of stepping away, you take another trade just to prove yourself right. 9 times out of 10, that second trade is worse than the first, and you spiral. I've seen traders lose entire challenges in a single day because they couldn't let go of one trade. I remember a guy in my Discord named Paul. He bought a $100,000 challenge and was up $3,000 after his first week. He was doing great. Then one morning, he took a trade that went against him. Instead of accepting the small loss, he doubled down. Then he doubled down again. Within 2 hours, he broke his daily drawdown and lost the challenge, all because he let his ego control him. The fourth mistake is trading too much. Overtrading kills more accounts than bad analysis ever will. Prop challenges aren't about taking 15 trades a day. They're about taking a handful of high-quality setups. Every trade you take eats into your emotional energy. The more you trade, the more mistakes you make. Less is more. The fifth mistake is no clear plan. Traders jump into challenges without a defined strategy, without rules, without even knowing what their risk to reward should be. They wing it, and the market punishes them. A funding challenge is not the place to experiment. It's the place to execute a plan you've already tested, and the sixth mistake is celebrating too early. This one is sneaky. Some traders pass phase 1, get excited, and then blow phase 2. Others get funded, relax, and then lose the account within weeks. They forget, passing is just the beginning. Staying funded is the real test. Let me give you another story. A trader named Sophia passed her $50,000 challenge in just 2 weeks. She was over the moon, but when she got her funded account, she kept trading the same aggressive way she used during the challenge. Within a month, her account was gone. She told me later, "I thought passing was the goal. I didn't realize the real challenge starts after." That lesson cost her $300 in challenge fees, but it saved her career, because now she trades with patience and discipline. Here's what you need to take from this. Most traders fail not because they can't trade, but because they can't control themselves. Over-leverage, ignoring rules, revenge trading, over-trading, lack of a plan, and celebrating too early. These are the traps that eat up 90% of challengers. But the good news is, if you can avoid them, you instantly put yourself in the top 10%. Think about that. Just by not making the same dumb mistakes, you're already ahead of most traders chasing funding. And remember, You don't have to learn these lessons the hard way. In my Discord, we talk openly about these mistakes. Traders share their failures, their blown accounts, and the lessons they learned. That way, others don't have to repeat them. It's like getting years of experience without paying the price yourself in the final chapter. I'll give you the complete roadmap for 2025. From buying your first challenge, to passing, to scaling into six-figure funded accounts, and finally building a real trading career. This is the blueprint that takes you from hoping to get funded to actually living off your payouts. Picture this. It's the morning of your payout day. You log into your prop firm dashboard, and instead of another failed challenge or empty account, you see it, a withdrawal pending. A payout that represents all your discipline, your patience, and your growth as a trader. You smile, not just because of the money, but because you finally feel like you've cracked the code. That's the moment every trader dreams of. And in 2025, it's within reach. Let's map out the exact roadmap that gets you there. Step 1. Choose the right firm. Not all prop firms are equal. Some have strict rules, some have shady reputations, and some are built for longevity. Do your homework. Look for firms with realistic profit targets, fair drawdown rules, and solid track records of paying traders. If you start with the wrong firm, you set yourself up for frustration before you even place a trade. Step 2. Prepare before you buy. Too many traders jump into a challenge without practice. Don't do that. Spend at least a month trading a demo or your own small account with the exact same rules the firm uses. Daily drawdown, maximum drawdown, profit targets. If you can't follow the rules on your own account, you won't suddenly follow them when it's a challenge. Step 3. Pass the challenge with patience. This is where the mindset and strategy come together. Trade small risk, 1 or 2 trades a day. Only high-quality setups. Ideally, liquidity sweeps in line with your daily bias. You don't need to hit target in a week. You don't need to gamble. You need to survive. If you follow the rules, the profits take care of themselves. Step 4. Treat Phase 2 like Phase 1. Too many traders relax once they pass the first phase. Don't. The same discipline that got you through Phase 1 is exactly what you need for Phase 2. Keep the risk small, keep the setups clean, and don't let emotions trick you into changing your plan. Step 5. Protect the funded account. Getting funded is not the finish line, it's the starting line. Once you're funded, your only job is to protect the capital. That means smaller risk, fewer trades, and absolute respect for the rules. Remember, payouts come from staying in the game, not from blowing up. Step 6. Scale over time. Once you've proven consistency, scale up. Many firms let you increase your capital after a few months of successful trading. Or you can stack multiple accounts with different firms. This is how traders build from $50,000 to $500,000 in funded capital. Slowly, step by step, and finally, Step 7. Treat it like a career. This isn't a lottery ticket. It's not about one big win. It's about building a consistent flow of payouts month after month. That means journaling, reviewing trades, and constantly refining your edge. It means showing up like a professional, not a gambler. Let me share one last story. A trader in my Discord named Alex started with a $10,000 personal account. He was frustrated, grinding for scraps. In 2024, he decided to focus on funding. He spent a month preparing, bought a $50,000 challenge, and passed it in 3 weeks using a simple liquidity sweep strategy. He protected his account, took small payouts, and after 6 months, scaled up to $200,000. By the end of the year, he was managing $400,000 in funded capital and taking consistent 5-figure withdrawals. He told me, "The only difference between me and who I was a year ago is discipline and a system, and that's the roadmap. Find the right firm. Prepare before you buy. Pass with patience. Protect your account. Scale over time. Treat it like a career. If you do that, 2025 can be the year funding changes your life. And remember, you don't have to walk this path alone." In my Discord, I share my market analysis, my daily bias, and the exact strategies I use. Traders there are passing challenges, getting funded, and scaling accounts right now. If you want to be surrounded by people who are serious about funding, that's where you belong. So now the decision is yours. Keep gambling with small accounts and blowing challenges, or follow this roadmap and finally step into the world of funded trading. Because the truth is, the money is out there. The firms are ready. The only question is, will you step up and trade like the professional you know you can be?